Hello gold friends, it's been a few days since we had an opportunity to do a video. I'm in the middle of a move and I'm actually in my new house now, and I've set myself up a little office in the walk-in closet. My wife doesn't know yet and she may actually murder me. She finds out I took over her new walk-in closet, but hey, it's a good trade station. But let's talk about gold. So we're going to start on the weekly time frame here, and a couple of key takeaways right away. Weekly uptrend is intact, but we still have some follow through from this major reversal candlestick. There's a shooting star here that we saw a couple of weeks ago. We saw big red confirmation, and it's likely, and this is a good setup for a bear flag scenario. So that would mean that either this week or next week, if we're going to stay inside this classic bear flag shape, we are going to see a further drop and probably come down to test this EMA 26. So that is if the bear flag that we have potentially forming right now does indeed play out. On the daily time frame, we go, actually let's jump back to the weekly because we missed one key element here, and that is going to be this low. So this is the lowest, the point that the bears could push after this area of consolidation. This is going to be a very important weekly key level. So if we do get that bear break on the weekly trend here and see this bear flag go down, going down to test that EMA area, we absolutely need to see the bulls staying above 1276.851. If they lose that and they lose EMA 26, it's going to see much more continued downside because the strength to maintain that uptrend has been lost. Okay, so now let's go to the daily. On the daily time frame, there is our weekly trend that we need to be watching for. We see our big drop here with some consolidation, a bull push up here, and we're seeing resistance, major resistance at EMA 12. So we failed to get over that. We've been rejected, pushing back down. And just today we had a little bit of indecision, sideways action, very, very tight range. Not a lot happening here. So when we look at the weekly, we know we're in a bear flag. This is the situation. See that playing out. Come up and test that EMA 12 again. See it as resistance. More continued downside. That's when we get into testing this 1276 area. Of course, bulls could easily retake EMA 12 and 26, coming back up and setting up a sort of a head and shoulders pattern here. But ultimately, that will be a more extended bull push. And I'm still leaning bearish on the weekly time frame. So we need to look at full time frame continuity. What is the weekly doing? How does that inform the daily time frame? How does the daily inform the 4-hour and the hourly? We need to look at all these concepts and time frames and use them to our advantage. So right now, weekly looks bearish to me. So when I see setups like this, I need to see a lot of proving by the bulls to get over these humps and change my outlook. Right now, weekly looks bearish, so I'm going to expect bearish plays based on these resistances. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we have the resistance here at 1300, so almost 1300 psychological. So that is going to be a key level for us here. And on the 4-hour time frame, we have two things that are happening. Possibly we are forming a 4-hour uptrend, in which case we are going to see the bulls retake 1300 and set a higher high above that level, or we're going to see a lower high and continue this downtrend. If we go back to the daily, we can see that we are sort of doing the same thing on the daily time frame. And of course, 4-hour informs this daily chart, and we're ultimately talking about the same thing on different time scales, right? So going back to the 4-hour, bulls need to retake 1300. If they fail to do that, we will be looking at a 4-hour downtrend, trying to come down and set a lower low below 1290. So a $10 range here that the bulls are going to really show us on the 4-hour time frame what they're going to be doing in the short term. If we go to the hourly, more or less the same information here. We were able to get over this key resistance, EMA 1226. Let's see if we can back test that and hold that. I'm still going to be watching for these 4-hour bulls and bears to tell me what they're going to do. Still leaning weekly bearish, still leaning daily bearish. 4-hour and hourly really needs to prove something to me before I'm going to be giving the bulls any amount of enthusiasm. And what that is going to look like for us, let's zoom in here a little bit on the hourly. Continually setting higher highs and higher lows, changing this trend. I don't want to see this forming an hourly ascending wedge, which would look a little bit like this. Let's go draw that in for you guys. So if we see something forming like this and having this tightening range, this is actually a bearish pattern. So if we come down, even if we get new highs and highs and highs, this tightening range in this shape is a bearish pattern. We'll see that crack, come back down and test these hourly levels. And on the daily, that key level, 1290.558. So we've talked a little bit all over the place. I'm excited to see what this week does for gold. And thank you again for tuning in. And I will talk to you tomorrow and every day after, because we are now set up in our awesome walk-in closet office that I hope I don't get murdered for. Have a good night, guys.